Our project is Increasing Awareness of Learning Disabilities in Rural China by Emily Bond, Linlin Ma, Jinlin Xie, Ben Tobin, Scarlett Du. So this is our case study. Because of most Chinese, no, damn it. All right, so this is our case study. Because most of China's population lives in rural areas, the cost of funding special schools for most children with disabilities in these areas is quite prohibitive. Therefore, many children with disabilities are settled in Chinese general education classrooms. By 2003, LRC programs served approximately 67% of all students identified with disabilities in general education classrooms of public schools. Dungan Harris, 2008. Despite this staggering number, there is little understanding of and barely any support for students with learning disabilities on the Chinese mainland. Students with disabilities have been observed sitting alone, being isolated from classroom activities, remaining at home, and even being denied the chance to go to a mainstream school, which is the case for Chen Yufei. Okay, so the barriers to achieving our goals. Speaking of the micro level, due to the large class sizes of 50 to 70 students, teachers have limited energy to provide individualized instruction and reasonable accommodations for disabled children. Teacher training is also problematic because most of the teachers in mainstream schools have never had any special education training in assisting students with learning disabilities. They may not have sufficient knowledge and professional skills to assist children. Parents also lack knowledge about their children's educational rights and options. And on the meso level, we need to consider school health services and community. In terms of macro level, although there are some early intervention programs, they are generally located in big cities like Beijing, but not in rural areas. And next. So our proposed solutions, community parent partnerships. So in China, the government officially separates school districts across many small communities, and then they assign officials, administrators to work in each of these communities. The officials are paid by the local government, which also regulates and oversees the community services. The government needs to provide special funding for this partnership program. The workers in the community are trained to guide young people before and during a pregnancy in order to avoid risk factors. For example, drinking alcohol during pregnancy can cause a woman's baby to be born with birth defects and developmental disabilities. The social workers can inform parents of the risks and help them to avoid these behaviors. The workers need to organize annual checkups for all children younger than 5 years old with the help of learning disability specialists. If any children are identified with potential learning disabilities, they will automatically be enrolled in community parent partnership programs. The workers in the community will serve as a coordinator to work with specialist schools and to help parents better support their children. Our proposed solutions for the community workers include group workshop for parents, which is recommended but not mandatory, and a family visit. Workers in the community will provide emotional support to the parents, teach parents parental strategies, direct children to free early intervention programs, and help children to enroll in mainstream schools, as well as monitor school administrators. If a school denies enrollment, the workers could report the case to the local governor and seek legal help. The workers will also connect teachers with specialists and help teachers to gain professional knowledge. The frequency of home visits can be adapted to the parents' needs and will depend on the time of the program. The workers will visit the home at least twice a month from the beginning of the service until parents are familiarized with and stick to the program. When parents fail to show up and drop out of the program, the workers may visit more frequently to provide supports.
Our proposed solution is to have a parent workshop, and our plan is to focus on one location to make it a pilot project before we promote it nationwide. As I am doing a nonprofit teaching project in Jiangxi, and I proposed to our team that we start there, as we have already built some resources there. So we offer strategies and support for families with children who have learning differences. And our incentive for parent attendance is to offer LD screening from qualified professionals. A professional team from Beijing Normal University is doing a pioneering work in that field with learning differences for children, and we will connect them and invite them to lead the workshops. During those workshops, we would also share examples of well-known figures with learning differences to reduce the stigma. For example, Einstein and Picasso had also suffered from dyslexia, but ended up making great contribution to the world. So I would like to sum up the logistical details. So our parent workshop will use local community centers to host workshop for parents and caregivers of young children aged 1 to 5. And those parent workshop will be led by learning difference experts, and it will be advertised by doctors and care providers to families as they attend checkups. And the incentive for attendance is to gain screening for children with learning differences by experts. So the workshop is to gather and disseminate resources for learning differences. To begin with, we would let the parents know what are learning differences and what are the strategies for supporting students with learning differences in general. And we will also identify resources for advocating for the children. The activities we have is to organize events connecting parents who have similar difficulties and professional teams. At community level, we want to communities to lead free checkup for every children in their community by learning disability experts. So the impact we are aiming to achieve is to increase awareness of learning differences within the community and to reduce stigmatization and support for early identification. We also try to gather and distribute resources to help families that have children with learning differences to know their rights and access to available supports. So the final page is our resources for your reference. Thank you for listening to our presentation.